We ring the championship bells. We don the championship uniform. We're all members of the Marching 100 tonight. We're all Hoosiers. Hoosiers get the win 27-21 over the Miami Hurricanes. And holy hell, what a game that was. I wasn't worried for even a second. Yeah, right. The second half just felt terrible. Felt like things were going to get away from us and get away from us in a hurry, and that Miami was going to come back. They were going to take the lead, and then it was all going to just drift away from us. And then Sharpe gets that pick, that glorious pick. Mendoza with the dive, Becker with two unbelievable catches, both on 4th and 5. Hemby ran balls out like there wasn't a lot there for him, but he ran hard. Black ran really hard today. Mendoza gutted it out. This was not his best game. That offensive line probably played against the best defensive front they're ever going to see in their lives. Those guys, I would say it's almost a shame that somebody's got to lose that game, but it's not. It's not a shame at all that Miami lost that game. It's glorious that Indiana won that game. Just unbelievable. What a tremendous game that was. Ruben Bain, exactly as advertised, a game wrecker. If I'm drafting in the top 10 in this NBA or this NFL draft, I'm taking Ruben Bain. He was just unbelievable today. But Charlie Becker, just a little bit better. And Curt Cignetti, how about the balls on that guy? Twice on the same drive. He passed up a field goal the one time on the last one, and they throw to Becker, and he makes a catch. And then Mendoza with a run, unbelievable run. Grant Noakes, unbelievable. Thank you very much, Grant. The officiating was horrendous. My ticker cannot take it. 55 years of my suffering is over. And that's for everybody. That's the state of Indiana. That's Indiana University. That's everybody who never thought that Indiana football could possibly get this done. Absolutely ridiculous that Indiana is a national champion in football of all sports. That Indiana got this done in football, and in large part because of Signetti on that drive. His motto, among many, he's got many mottos, but it's attack always. 4th and 5, attacked, hit Becker. 4th and 5, Mendoza runs it, gets past the first down marker, and you're thinking, get down, get down, get down. Not Mendoza. He dives for the goal line, gets there, and that's the score that winds up winning it for your Indiana Hoosiers. Thomas, here we go, said, what a game. Not what I expected. Lost $80. Don't care. I was sick all day, but wouldn't miss this for nothing. And you know what? A lot of us are going to be on short sleep tomorrow. There's no question about that. And hopefully people in Bloomington, they celebrate responsibly. And by that, I mean, don't get hypothermia. Don't go out in the cold. Do stupid stuff. Don't do that. All right? You know what? When it's like 60 in early April, you do that kind of nonsense. Not when it's like 0 in central Indiana. Mendoza, how about him? Tim and Indy, national champions, thank you very much for the donation. As always, we are brought to you by the great people at Today's Dentistry. Call 317-849-2933. You know, Fernando Mendoza and the Hoosiers and Curt Cignetti, they took care of your dream. How about letting Dr. Mike O'Neill take care of your teeth? Randy Smith says the name of the IU movie should be Google Me. And, well, then Google's going to have to underwrite it, aren't they? Statistically, I hated the way that this game was called. Hated the officiating. I know Indiana won, and it's inglorious to bitch and moan about the officiating after you win. But my God almighty, that whole game, they don't call a defensive holding or a DPI against Miami, despite the fact that we've got videotape evidence of it happening maybe a dozen times. But they do call Mario Landino with a game on the line. It was going to be 3rd and 15, right? And Landino, maybe a little bit late, but I don't think anything bad against Carson Beck. Certainly nothing nefarious. Certainly not. How about calling targeting on the Miami player against Fernando Mendoza when he got his lip bloodied? For God's sake, what was that if not targeting? Christ almighty, we did it. The great Shimbo. Thank you, Shimbo. Appreciate that. King Jeffrey says, come back, Mendoza. Let's repeat. I'm afraid Fernando Mendoza is going to be a goner. But you know what? I would rather come back and take whatever Indiana can give him rather than go to the Las Vegas Raiders as a quarterback where your career is almost certain to go and die. I don't want to see him in Vegas. Mendoza today, 16 of 27 for 186, 6.9 yards per attempt. That is not Fernando Mendoza's style of football. No touchdowns, no interceptions. Indiana did not turn the ball over. And if you count the punt block, which doesn't count as a turnover, but I'm going to count it as a turnover, the punt block by Kamara, absolutely stunningly huge. He just kept coming. There wasn't a punt block on. He just kept coming, and the Miami guy was just slow getting it off. He put his hand up, got it, and Bones Jones falls out in the end zone. What an awesome play that was. Fantastic. Remember, for 5 months, Texas Colt. Excellent. I wonder how the great Don Fisher feels. I doubt Don Fisher, I'll bet he's just numb everywhere. That's how Don Fisher never in his wildest dreams thought that anything like this was possible. Congratulations, Indiana. Hoosiers. Go Hoosiers. Going to be a movie. But if you make the movie, how do you make it better than the reality? And that's kind of what a movie's got to do, right? It's got to be like better than reality. It's reality without the boring parts. That's what Alfred Hitchcock said. You know what? There were no boring parts to this thing. How ridiculous is that? Indiana never trailed in this game. Did not trail once. They have not trailed. Indiana hasn't trailed since they played Penn State on November 8th. It felt like they were going to trail like the last 20 seconds of the game, didn't it? Refs did keep Miami close. I thought the refs were horrible. We knew when that crew was assigned. That's a crew that's very well known for not blowing the whistle a lot, which meant advantage Miami because they commit a lot of penalties. I felt horrible for Carter Smith and that jumping, like that twitch, right? That twitch was humongous. It was 2nd and 1. Indiana likely runs out the clock, if not for that twitch. That dive for the end zone will make a hell of a poster. It will. You know what? That was off the TV. That thumbnail was off the TV. That's unbelievable. Gonna buy some champs gear, Kent. You better. I will. OIU, so glad they won. He would have never forgotten that if they lost. You're right. Will there be a parade? Yes, there will be a parade. Likely Saturday. I think that's all done. Was the flag for taunting at the end. That's what the flag was for. It was for unsportsmanlike conduct. I don't know what Sharpe did, but I'm glad he did it. Can someone check on Paul Feinbaum? I hope he's somewhere crying. Unfortunately, this was against an ACC opponent. And Feinbaum doesn't cry when an ACC team loses. But he sure did crap on Indiana a lot, didn't he? Ridiculous. What a boob. You know, if you're in a position of standing, I think what you got to do is try to tell the truth a little bit. This is not a cute story. This is the first team to go 16-0 in a season since 1894, when the Yale Bulldogs did it, when teams were playing like 1 game, 2 games, 3 games, but Yale played 16, so why the hell not? We're a football school now. The debate is over, and Indiana gets to put a star on their fannies or someplace on the uniform. I don't know where they're going to put them, but it is going to look beautiful. How wonderful is that? I love Pat's game coverage of the game. I watched the traditional one. I watched the Herbie and Fowler game with Holly Rowe on the Indiana sidelines. And that was okay. They weren't terrible. They don't talk at all about the officiating, or very little about the officiating. I didn't care much for it. Indiana's coming back next year. Bank on it. I don't know where they're going to come back to. Back-to-back wins. You know what? Why not get greedy, for God's sake? Miami suddenly became SEC adjacent after beating Ohio State. They did, didn't they? This is great, trading my Colts jersey for an IU jersey. Hey, I got one right here. I got an IU jersey, and we'll give it away tomorrow afternoon to somebody. It's cost me $150. Sewn on numbers, sewn on Indiana, absolutely beautiful. Cost me $150 at the Assembly Hall swag shop, and awesome. And we're going to give it away tomorrow afternoon. You must be a subscriber, and the way to enter is this: Go IU. That's the phrase that pays. You must use it in a comment. I will write down all the handles on tickets, put them in the fabulous prize bucket. We will use then the fabulous prize wheel, and we're off to the races, giving one away. I've already ordered 2 national champs shirts. Dick's is open, I think, tonight. Right there, they were going to open late after the game. Did you know I had boots on the ground at Hard Rock Stadium? The great Polly Balls said that they were out of all IU national championship game shirts within an hour and a half of kickoff. They were all gone an hour and a half prior to kickoff. Unbelievable. King Jeffrey says Bain is going to be a pain in the ass in the NFL. Yes, he is. He's going to be really good. I don't know if he's Micah Parsons good, but he's really damn good. Because you can bet your ass that Indiana did everything they needed to do to try to scheme him into mediocrity, and they got none of that done whatsoever. I hope Jesus let my dad watch from heaven. I'm going to say the same things to you, Robbie, that Mario Cristobal said about his player's dad, who's going to be watching, said he's got the best seat in the house. So there you go. And it doesn't, traveling, there's no charge for traveling once you're in the great beyond. Hoosier fans, we deserve this. We have suffered for so long. It really is unbelievable. Kurt Cignetti is a spiritual replacement to Nick Saban in college football. Is that a compliment? I don't know whether it's a compliment. Is he going to be on Verbo commercials now, Signetti, with the ridiculous rules? I don't know. I'm asking God to tell my dad IU won. I don't know, maybe he was watching. Hemby tonight, 19 carries, 60 yards. Kalon Black, 17 for 79. Indiana ran for 132 on 43 carries. That was 3.1 yards. And that's really the thing. If they get over 4, they're impossible to beat. If they're under 4, they're beatable. And Indiana was beatable tonight. Riley Nowakowski with a huge rush tonight for a touchdown. How do you go from worst team to the best in 2 years? I'll tell you how. And Signetti will tell you how. You set standards, you enforce the standards. That breeds culture. Culture wins. That's what you do. Set standards, enforce standards. If people fall short of the standards, they pack a bag. It's just that simple. Winning's easy. You just got to have the heart to pull the trigger on guys and tell them that they got to go play someplace else. That's exactly how you do it, and that's exactly how this was done. And Urban Meyer alluded to this in the pregame on the Big Ten Network too, and it's 100% true. You bring in guys like Elijah Surratt, Mikhail Kamara, Aiden Fisher. You bring those guys in, and what do? They become the enforcers on your team. They become the communicators. All right, Signetti communicates to the position coaches. Position coaches, they communicate with the players, the captains. Captains, they communicate with their teammates. You didn't want to cross Aiden Fisher. You didn't want to cross Mikhail Kamara. You didn't want to cross any of these guys, any of the guys who came from JMU, or there was going to be hell to pay. And that's a beautiful thing. You change a culture by setting the standards and enforcing them. Signetti did that, and he's got a great eye for talent, both in terms of physical and in terms of mental. PJ White says, so happy to see IU win after game day crew picked Miami except Pat. Maybe they'll finally start to get the respect they deserve. I don't know what people are thinking. People keep talking themselves into believing that Indiana isn't as good as Indiana is, which is absolute garbage. Just nonsense. Pons is so good. He was great tonight. D'Angelo Pons, I don't know who wound up being the MVP of this national championship game, but you could pick D'Angelo Pons and it wouldn't bother me in the least. You could pick Kamara and it wouldn't bother me. You could pick Charlie Becker and it wouldn't bother me. Carson Beck, 19 of 32 for 232, a touchdown and a pick. Have you ever seen a guy? People talk about bad face and bad eyes all the time. That dude's got the worst face I've ever seen. Every time something bad happened, he looked like the world fell on his big toe. He was just horrible. Would you rally around that guy? I would not. Mendoza, I don't know what was going on with Mendoza. Maybe Mendoza wasn't feeling well. That's a good question. Mark Fletcher, 17 carries for 112 yards, 57 on one of those carries. And that was the thing that couldn't happen. And then he had Malachi Toney. Malachi Toney in the first half was completely mitigated, right? 3 or 4 catches for 12 yards. Second half, a little bit different, 10 for 122 for the game. Football was Cignetti, Mendoza, Michael Jordan style, of the moon to the roof in the... the ceiling is the roof, or the roof is the ceiling, whatever the hell he said. That's just his face, Kent. He's got unfortunate genetics. No, but he kind of looked like that. Like no energy from the guy whatsoever. They ran on us and still lost. I can't believe we allowed a team to run for 110, and we allowed a team to hold us for 132. C.J. Daniels was pretty good. That number 7 was pretty good tonight. Who else was any damn good? I'm telling you, Akeem Messidor, terrific. But Ruben Bain's the guy I'd take if I'm an NFL scout. He's the guy. Lewis Moore with 7 tackles tonight. Jamari Sharpe with 6 and that pick. D'Angelo Pons with 3 PDs, 3 passes defensed. Let's see what the penalty situation was. Yes, referees were terrible. But that's because Miami commits more penalties, right? That it seemed like it was anti-IU. Mendoza's better than C.J. Stroud. Sorry, Houston. He is. That much became clear over the weekend. Penalties. 7 for 60 by Miami, 5 for 38 by Indiana. That included that roughing the pass, which was just a garbage call. Still, Indiana never had a game this season where they had more than 45 yards in penalty yards assessed against them. The penalties against Miami absolutely killed them. We've talked about it for a week and a half. Penalties were going to be their undoing, and they were. If they play a clean game, they win that game tonight. But they didn't. So that's life. And Indiana is now the national champ. Time of possession, Indiana had the ball for 36 minutes, 24 seconds. Everybody said, oh, Miami, they like to control the ball. They're going to be able to control the ball against Indiana. My ass. Hey, Kent, are we having fun yet? Brian says, thank you, Kent, for entertaining us all along the way. You're welcome. My absolute pleasure. I've never had more fun in my life than doing this. Absolutely. Kurt Signetti, the greatest football coach? Yep. Turn that U upside down. And could they get those idiots off the sidelines? Could they get Michael Irvin and Ray Lewis and all these boobs off the sidelines? What is it? You win a national championship, you can just show up and like hang out on the sidelines? If you don't have a job on the field, get your ass off. You out of your mind? What's the matter with you? Omar Cooper. I thought Cooper had a nice day today. 5 catches, 71 yards. Kind of off the beaten path, Cooper was, because Becker, 4 catches with 65, caught late, right? Really, really good tonight. Nowakowski, 2 for 17. Hemby, 2 for 5. Surratt, 3 for 28. That drop by Surratt, that doesn't happen. And I thought, oh no. Here's the thing that doesn't happen. And it's happened. And we got Edgerrin, Reggie, get your ass up into a suite like a normal human being. Unless you have business on the sidelines, get your ass up into a suite. I don't mind them coming to the game. I love them coming to the game. right? David Schweibold says, we did it, Kent. Reps kept Miami in it. National champs, baby. Thank you. Can't imagine Kirkwood right now. Run by Mendoza was legendary. It was. Every single game they played that was close, you had kind of a thing, a catch, a moment that was absolutely splendid. You had that just a moment of grace. Whether it was Surratt tonight with that dive for the goal line, whether it was Cooper against Penn State, whether it was Surratt against Iowa, and then I think Surratt as well against Oregon. But man, it was just astounding. Game after game after game after game. The Becker catch against Ohio State, holy moly, no drops all season. Charlie Becker is exactly what this team needed. And they found him just in time because Surratt got hurt. And Surratt wound up being a really, really good receiver core because those guys, Becker was the MVP today. Was he the MVP? Charlie Becker emerging so huge this year, it was. It was like, what do we need? We need a deep threat guy. We got Cooper, we got Surratt, ball control guys. We need a deep threat. Hey, we got this kid over here. We got number 80. He seems kind of fast. And Surratt gets hurt, and all of a sudden, Charlie Becker's a star. Charlie Becker, here's all he did. Look at his stats. Charlie Becker, his game log, he had 7 catches through the Maryland game. Then starting with the Penn State game, he had 7 for 118, 5 for 108, 1 for 6 against Purdue, but nobody had to catch passes against Purdue. 6 for 126 against Ohio State, 2 for 51 against Bama, 2 for 48 against Oregon, and 4 for 65 against Miami. And he almost got the touchdown, but he just stepped out of bounds. What a glorious night. Absolutely fantastic. Pinch yourself. Absolutely. And leave the city of Bloomington alone, for God's sake. Becker wasn't the MVP, but his catches tonight were critical. I wonder who the MVP was. Maybe Mendoza because of that run. Naked runs on Kirkwood tonight. Man, as long as people are only doing harm to themselves, I guess that's a win. You can see the tension on Mom's face when Mendoza rushed for that TD. That dude's going to be sore for a while. I don't know. It could have cracked a rib. He got hit right flush in the kidney. That had to hurt like hell. Mendoza and Kamara, the MVPs. Good. I'm glad they split it. Becker, a hero. Yes, he is. Hopefully the pro team learns from the college team in the blessed state of Indiana. Can you believe it? Can you believe Indiana won the national championship? Like, we must be living in some kind of alternate universe that I just don't understand. This is fantastic. I'm so glad I bought this uniform. After I'm done, I'm going to go walk around the neighborhood. What is it, 20 degrees out? I'm going to walk around the neighborhood and sing the alma mater, the one with Gloriana Frangipane in it. What now, Kent? This dream season is over with. I'm sad it's over. I am too. What the hell are we going to do until late August? What is this? Can we go to the spring game this year? I don't think did they have a spring game? Did they allow us to go in? I don't even know. What do we do? What do we look forward to next weekend? We got Bupkis. Tomorrow night, we got Indiana basketball up at Ann Arbor playing against a top 5 team in Michigan. Maybe they can get this positive roll going basketball-wise. That'd be all right. I'd take it. My sports world is a freaky nightmare. All my teams suck, and their rivals win big, but not here, right? You listen to Don Fisher. I did not listen to Don Fisher tonight. How much you want to bet Signetti's watching film this weekend? He better, because he's got to go get guys. There are going to be guys who enter the portal after this. Special teams won the game for us tonight. And you know what? That missed field goal, that doink by the Miami kicker, that changed things. So you're right. A Google search says Mendoza is the game MVP and Kamara is the defensive MVP. All right. I get it. You do it for the quarterback, but that run was absolutely spectacular. Like that was an all-timer run. And we will. when we celebrate the career of Fernando Mendoza as the guy who went, to great lengths to bring Indiana this national championship, we're going to celebrate that run. That'll be the first thing that you see. And so that run, that was a 12-yard touchdown run. He was 7 for 8. The O-line did not play great. The 4th and 5, with just over 10 minutes left with a Becker catch, that was kind of unbelievable. Because if you turn that ball over, if you don't get that 5, if Charlie Becker doesn't come down with that ball, I don't think Indiana wins this game. Miami's going to get the ball with great field position, and Indiana, they didn't get a lot of stops there in the second half, did they? And then you had the other 4th and 5. Mendoza gets the touchdown. If he doesn't get that touchdown, I don't think good things happen then either, right? You likely lose that game. If he didn't get the first down, I think you definitely lose that game. That run, shades of Andrew Luck versus the Chiefs. Wasn't that a beautiful moment? Like, we tend to crap on Andrew Luck, and I get why. But that was beautiful, that run. And the people down there are just going to have fun all night long. I worked on Kamara's car today. Did you? What's he drive? I'm curious. That's from the Phil A. Blunt. He worked on Kamara's car today. Well, damn it, I hope it's fixed. And fix it well and get it back to him in good shape, would you? Yes, they replayed Don Fisher voicing the INT epic. Because Don was thinking like the rest of us, this game's toast. We got to make a play. My wife said, we got to make a play. We need a big play right now. And then Carson Beck threw it to Sharpe. Her timing, unbelievable. The missed field goal by Ohio State against Indiana, that was my wife. He's going to hook it left, she said. Absolutely, that's exactly what he did. The O-line did not play like crap tonight. Miami's D front was highly they were. And they had a terrific game plan. So you're not lying. No calls on them. It didn't seem like, I'm with you 100%. We didn't have hardly any offense in the second half, but they got away with a lot of holding calls, hitting out of bounds calls, phantom calls. I agree with that. I thought the officiating was in large part more positive toward Miami than it was to Indiana. But that's because Miami, they dance right up to the line. And if you've got, with a crew like this, if you've got a crew that's kind of, prickly, this game wouldn't have been good. This would have been a 20-point game. Have a beer. Yeah, I think Signetti's going to. Awesome game. Been waiting for this for a long time. I said what Julie said because they had all the momentum. You're as smart as she is, Robbie. Let's go. Signetti was ready to cry. I cried too. Been an IU fan for years. Good for you, David. You know what? I'll tell you what. Crying's good for the soul, isn't it? I repel it as best I can. Work should be canceled tomorrow. I mean, dang, Bain had like 10.5 sacks entering the game, and he leaves with 12.5. Doesn't do him any good, though. Miami was holding and late hitting all night. They were. Plans tomorrow, Kent. Where are you going to celebrate? I'm going to celebrate on the radio on the 98.7, The Zone. That's what I'm going to do. They just put Indiana basketball on the street to dry out and die. No. We still love basketball. Dodge Charger, what else would he drive? I had a feeling it was a Dodge Charger. Good for him. I'll tell you what, Mark Cuban will pay it off if he owes anything on it. Can't wait to talk mess on Lebitard's show tomorrow. Lebitard just needs to be quiet. I get letting the boys play, but damn, why not just stay home versus the officiating job they did? I agree. Colts find a way to get Bain. They need edge rushers. Ain't no chance. No chance. They'd have to trade everybody to get the draft pick needed to go get Reuben Bain. I love you guys. Our local school corporation is on a 2-hour delay. Awesome. Sharpe, defensive MVP. Kamara, not Kamara, Google it. Kamara was really good today. I thought that blocked punt was money. It was awesome. I wonder how Dokic is celebrating. I don't know how he's celebrating, but I guarantee you that he is. I love that all those guys are down there. Cuban's going to get in the fountain, he said before the game if they won. I'm a Notre Dame fan, but I use my team after they went to the playoffs. I hope we meet in the playoffs next year. I do too. Fun beating Notre Dame. Head official tonight looked like he was 16 years old. LOL. Good night, everyone. See you in the morning. Breakfast with Kent. Breakfast with Kent is going to be a little bit delayed tomorrow, as you might guess. Not because I'm not going to be up, but because I got to prepare. I will not be prepared. Want to remind you, though, become a subscriber. We are less than 400 subs away from 25,000. When we get to 25,000, we're going to give away some serious stuff. All right? But this, we're going to give away tomorrow. And the letters are in the right order. You don't need to worry about that. YouTube Live swaps them for some reason. I don't know why they do that, but they do. Sonon letters, numbers, $150 at Assembly Hall. I bought that last Tuesday or the Tuesday before. I can't remember. Mickey says, tip jar Ken. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Very nice of you. You don't beat ND, Bud. This year you would have, though. Bud, yeah. This is the new Indiana. This isn't the Indiana that you guys curb stomped in like 90 or 91. That's not what this is. And now, how about you guys come on down to Bloomington and we see how that rolls. Signetti wins. Google it. As Dick Vitale said, it's awesome, baby. They said that IU had it's actually 800,000 living alumni. And I think Miami has like 10,000 or 50,000. Smaller school. Let's go. Fun, fun, fun. Brutal until the end. It was. But isn't that fun? Evan's going to bed now. I'm going too. All right. Have a great night. Enjoy yourselves. Remember, subscribe to become eligible to win the jersey and go IU as a comment as your entry to win the jersey. And we'll give it away